Jazz Bums. So it is July 31, 2023, and we got an announcement from Blue Note today. They've announced, I think, 16 titles for their Blue Note Classic Series. So we're going to get into it. We're going to kind of break down each one of those. Before we do, remember to like and subscribe. We're going to post to our Discord and all our social media in the description if you're interested in checking that stuff out. And with that, I'll kick it over to Felipe to get us started.
Thank you, Mike. Hey guys, welcome back, everybody. So yes, one more big announcement today: the new run of Classic Series titles. I think everybody was kind of waiting for that, really looking forward to them, and they finally came in today. A lot of anticipation, some people guessing a lot of titles here and there. So just as a recap, the Classic Series came not too long ago as a continuation of the 80th anniversary series on Blue Note. It just could not be called 80s anymore because the 80th anniversary had passed. So we're about actually to get to the 85th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last year, it became the morph to the Classic Series, which it comprises of 180-gram vinyl, really well done, cut by Kevin Gray, pressed at I guess Optimal, right?
Yeah, it's Optimal.
Anyways, curated by Don Was and Cem Kurosman. And titles handpicked. The first year was like big heavy hitters, and then we had some more like heavy hitters mixed with exploration. And this year it's like a full run of like top-notch Blue Note titles that everybody have been waiting for. Most of them have been released as Music Matters or 7/5. That's why they didn't make it to Tone Poets. And I think the choices were absolutely great. And let's start. Let's go dig through and hope we can help you guys make your choices.
Okay, so just to ground us, this is the announcement on Blue Note's website. So they listed 16 titles, starting the new titles that they are announcing starting in September 15, and then taking us into 2024 up until April.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some pretty heavy hitters in here. This is a pretty exciting list, I think, for a lot of people. We took kind of a quick sample from our Instagram and then also the Discord, and there's a lot of titles people are really happy are in here. So with that, I guess we'll just get started. September 15th, we have Horace Silver blowing the blues away. So I'll just quickly go through this. So this is from 1959, a great year in jazz. And then let's see who the lineup is. So it's Blue Mitchell, trumpet, Junior Cook, tenor sax, Horace Silver, Eugene Taylor, not too familiar with him, and Lewis Hayes on drums. So what do we think about this title?
It's a great title, Mike. It's probably our Silver dance masterpiece. It kind of brings back the blues a little bit, and also it's a great hard bop session as well. But the band is really sharp. The songs, the composition. It didn't get as popular as Song to My Father, but this is probably his masterpiece, considered by many. So here's a copy. That's an OG, which I got not too long ago, right?
Yeah. How's that sound?
Yeah. It sounds impressive. It's really good. It's a stereo, 4017. So it's stereo. It sounds better in stereo. It was recorded in stereo. And it's if you're not into Horace Silver too much, say, this is the record to get. Horace Silver. This beautiful session from cover to songs. How do you guys like it?
So I haven't heard that one yet. I am kind of in that I can take or leave Horace Silver stuff. Don't want to get upset. But I mean, like I've got all the other stuff they put on the Tone Poets and Classic Series, and I like them. But it's good to hear you say that because I will be getting that record just based on that recommendation.
Yeah, I have the Blue Note 75th pressing. This sounds really good. I got this for super cheap, and it has my favorite Horace Silver lineup is with him and Blue Mitchell and Junior Cook. He also has some other killer lineups too, but that was a solid Horace Silver quintet group, that those two guys, and they did a lot of great titles in that late 50s era. So this one's really good. I mean, I wanted it so much I got the 75th, and really happy with it. I think this is an example. Some of those 75ths sound pretty good. This is certainly the case. So I'll probably just hold on to this one. Happy with it, but it is a really great session.
Yeah,
Nice.
Classic session.
it's one of his finest. It's a must-have. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna get it then for sure.
Definitely. Okay. All right. Let's continue moving. Number 2 here is Midnight Special, Jimmy Smith. Now, I think Blowing the Blues Away and this Jimmy Smith are up for pre-order
Yep.
at the time of recording. So this is Jimmy Smith. This is, I think, the third, or actually, I mean, there probably were a few more, but he's had a pretty good run on like the 80 series and the Classic series. This is him with Stanley Turrentine, Kenny Burrell, and Donald Bailey. It's an exceptional quartet. I mean, that's best Jimmy Smith stuff. I did sample this earlier and really liked it. It kind of reminded me of like the Lockjaw, Shirley Scott kind of style. It's not exactly the same, but it's like that cookbook. Good, like the Stanley Turrentine Jimmy Smith combo is really excellent.
This was recorded at the same session as Back to the Chicken Shack. He also recorded the Prayers Meeting, the terrific record that came on as a tone poet. And Kenny Burrell and Stanley Turrentine and Don Bailey, think about Midnight Blue. So you put everything together. This is what you get here. This is really, really good. Highly recommend this record. It's killer.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. I have all those other ones you were mentioning. I'll definitely be buying this. I love Jimmy Smith, especially Jimmy Smith's Blue Note stuff.
Yeah. I think it's better than his Verb stuff for sure.
Totally agree. Yeah. I mean, I got some of that stuff too, and it's fine, but the Blue Note stuff's just better.
We have an Art Blakey. So this is Mosaic. This is Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. And this is, again, just like the Horace Silver, this is one of the kind of classic quintets for Blakey. These guys had a pretty good run on Blue Note together. And this was, I think this is their first title that they put out as this group. So basically, I think it says here, so like Lee Morgan and Bobby Timmons left the Messengers. And then you had Freddie Hubbard and Cedar Walton come in.
That's it, joining, yes.
And you also have Curtis Fuller on trombone, Wayne Shorter tenor sax, Jamie Merritt bass. And what do we think about this one?
It is great too. Do you guys have it?
No, I don't.
So here it is. That's an original mono.
Nice.
There's a recent, I'm not sure if it was a 7th/5th isolated release by Blue Note not too long ago. And it's a cut by Bernie Grun, which also sounds terrific. I'm not sure which series this is. So this record is kind of interesting. It has the band is really sharp. I think Freddie Hubbard. He's perfect. He's not like that player like Miles or like Lee Morgan, but all his notes are like sharp, perfect, and there's no excess here, which I like about this record. And also there's a song by Curtis Fuller. Where is it? Arabia. Yeah. Yes. When he was more like into like Eastern sounds, exploring more. Yeah, it's very Eastern influence. This song, and it's a beautiful, beautiful record. Highly recommend.
I was excited to see this one on the list. I've been wanting a copy of this for a while. So
it's good. It's good. Yes, I have the other one by Bernie. Yeah,
it's
very. I have this is the same exact lineup. It's Buhana's Delight. This one's okay. I was streaming Mosaic. I think Mosaic I liked better than this one. But again, I mean, they did like 5 or 6 records on Blue Note together as a group. So I think there's it is a great group. So let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, and Art Blakey's always going to sell.
Yeah, and that is a really good one. Really enjoyed it. Okay, next one. So we won't go through everything, or maybe we'll go through it later, but we put up on our Instagram the 16 titles, and we were just asking people what you're most excited for. And then also we were chatting with people on the Discord. And No Room for Squares, Hank Mobley, was definitely one of the ones that were mentioned, by a lot of people. So this one people seems like are really excited for. With makes a lot of sense. It's a great record. Released in '64, and then personnel: Mobley tenor, Lee Morgan trumpet, Donald Byrd trumpet, Andrew Hill piano, Herbie Hancock piano, John Orr bass, Butch Warren bass, Philly Joe Jones drums. So it looks like there are a couple different sessions, but
Yes.
yeah, it looks incredible. So what do you guys, are you guys excited for this one?
I am very excited for this one. Yeah, this is one of the ones that I've been hoping they would release for sure. I've seen Felipe show his copies, and I've definitely am interested in any Hank Mobley.
Yeah, it's a record I often go back to. This is the AP45 copy. So you don't see this record that often. There's a 7/5, right?
Maybe.
I think
it
so.
was 7/5 release. These two sessions are great. And one thing that's important to highlight is saying 64, people are kind of questioning, what else could Hank Mobley bring to the table? Is he getting old? Is he getting, whatever? He showed, boom, how sharp he still was in the 60s. He had still a very good production. And these sessions also generate the turnaround, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, same sessions there.
I was streaming it earlier, and I didn't listen to the whole album, but I listened to enough of it. And Lee Morgan is awesome on this. Like the first, I think from what I remember, the first track, the theme sounds like there is like a little bit of game showiness to it. I feel like sometimes the Blakey groups and like there was like a, I don't know, like pizzazz kind of style at the head, but like the solo on the first is Mobley gets like 3 minutes, and then Lee Morgan gets 3 minutes, and that's it, and then they're out, and it's such a great track. So this is a really cool one, and then the rest of the album doesn't that like show tuniness that I'm mentioning. I don't think really comes up again, but it's a really this is a must get for me. I'm definitely pre-ordering this.
And just a quick story, pretty interesting. When Lee Morgan came back from VJ and drugs and everything, is putting out his comeback. Before recording the Sidewinder, his first two sessions for Blue Note were No Room for Squares and Evolution, the Graham Encore.
Oh wow, I didn't know
that. Yeah.
Interesting.
He recorded those two records, and then the next one was Sidewinder.
Yeah, and he's also the second track is called Carolyn, and Lee Morgan takes the first solo, and it's a ballad. It's like a blues ballad, and they sound just beautiful on it. It's a great track.
Yes, it do.
All right, so let's keep moving forward. We are going to move from the Hank Mobley to the Sonny Rollins.
Woo!
So we got
kick-ass.
1957 session, came out in 59, and what's awesome about this is that it's a quartet, and Sonny Rollins is in front just shredding. It's a pretty great group here, and it's a cool one. I've wanted this. I've looked at the Music Matters. It's pretty pricey, but I was holding off because I thought that we were due for a Sonny Rollins reissue of stuff.
Yeah, we have been talking about this quite often, right? When is the Sonny Rollins Blue Notes coming out? Is it going to be a box? What they're going to do? And I think Nuke's Time was a great choice.
Oh yeah.
There's a Black Bee, and already sounds terrific. Sounds better than Volume 1 and Volume 2 from the 70s, early pressings. And I think it's such a beautiful record. It's out of the Sonny Rollins Blue Notes, that's my favorite.
Okay. Oh, right.
It's well recorded, sounds great. The band is super sharp. I mean, right? The lineup is ridiculous.
My favorite on Blue Note, I recently got the Village Vanguard, and that is like just incredible.
It is really good, yes. But I don't know, this record has such a tone, such a vibe. I truly like it.
Yeah.
I think people are lucky to be able to get it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's not an easy one to come by either, right? Like, this is one of the ones that really needed to get reissued. So you see Felipe's got a Black Bees, doesn't have an OG sitting over there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hard to get record. I'm glad they're putting it out. I'm obviously down for any Sonny Rollins. I mean,
And do you guys know what the catalog number is?
4001.
Yeah, 4001. So first title in the 4000 series.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
he recorded still in the 1500s, but that was shot.
Yeah.
57, right? So he recorded around what, Blue Train, something.
Yeah,
that
it's
sounds
amazing. I'm really excited for that one.
You know, it is really good. And I think with the Kevin Gray sound, Magic Touch, is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely a must get. They also do Lotus Blossom, which is the first track on Kenny Dorham's Quiet Kenny. So it's a beautiful track, and Sonny's rendition of it is really beautiful.
I was gonna say it'd be nice to hear Sonny on Blue Note because I haven't yet.
We have Mode for Joe Henderson. I feel like this man is getting a lot of love right now on our channel,
For
rightfully
sure.
so.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of us are trying to get more Joe Henderson. So this is, I don't know if this is his last Blue Note release. It may not be his last. Is it?
It is before State of the Tenor, yeah.
Yeah, 42 to 27, yes, for sure.
Okay. And then then he goes to Milestone. So this group, he has Lee Morgan, Curtis Fuller, Bobby Hutcherson, Cedar Walton, Ron Carter, and Joe Chambers.
Yeah. It's stacked.
Yeah.
Yes. What else can I say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I am so freaking excited for this one. Oh, you got a copy there? What's that, Felipe?
That's a Liberty.
Nice.
Nice.
It was expensive 2 years ago. I don't know how much it goes for now.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I noticed? So as I was preparing for the video and getting everything set up, I went to Discogs. A lot of people are putting their like 75th anniversary series titles that are being repressed or reissued now. So it's actually, you can find like some really good deals.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This is probably my number one record of this drop.
Oh, yeah. I think it's high time, right? When it was like the decent pressing mode for Joe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Besides the Music Matters.
Is that one of the more expensive ones, Felipe?
Music Matters, I'm not sure. I got my copy from Music Matters. I bought it very cheap because it was a leftover with no cover, and that was a 45. Plus, I have this Liberty here. I think the Liberty costs more than the Music Matters with no cover. But sound-wise, it's a 45. Sounds slightly better, but still. This is one of those Liberties with no Van Gelder. But man, this is killer. This is really killer.
Yeah, I have one. I have one that you sent me, Felipe. I think the Byrd and Flight is a Liberty No Van Gelder, and it sounds perfect.
I think this is the last Henderson record on Blue Note that hadn't been reissued in one of the two series, too.
No, I think there's. Oh, hold on.
More?
Inner Urge.
Well, there's series. You tripped me up there, but hold on. Let's take a look. So if we go to, what's the next one? Hold on. We go to Joe.
Yep.
And then we go down to,
discography.
And then we just these Blue Notes. So
This
page
one, Our Thing.
That's
Our
an
Thing,
8.
In and Out.
Our Thing has not been reissued. In and Out was an 80, which I don't have. I actually was looking for it today when I was, thinking about the video. I thought I had this.
Those should come. Those are Music Matters also.
And then Inner Urge, that was a classic.
Yep.
And now for Joe. So the only one they really haven't done is Our Thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So one left.
I think Our Thing is still Music Matters.
Yeah.
Not sure.
It is Music Matters. So Classic could do it.
Yeah, they'll do
Classic did all of these. So like it's kind of nice that, nice little set.
They're spreading out. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I have to get In and Out though, whenever that gets repressed. Okay. So now moving on. Next is not Tina Brooks. It is True Blue by Tina Brooks. So this is a 1960 session. I think it's the one Tina Brooks session that actually got released, around the time it was recorded. I think everything else was shelved.
Yeah.
Which is insane because I bought the Mosaic box and all of those records are like fantastic hardback. They're top of the mark. So Tina Brooks, Freddie Hubbard, Duke Jordan, Sam Jones, and Art Taylor. And what do we think about this one?
It's a must-have. I love it. You have it also, Chris. The Music Matters. Yeah, this is It reminds me a little of Sonny Clark records, some Sonny Clark. I mean, just me, it's my impression, but it is a great session. This is a Music Matters 33, which I think we have the same.
Yeah. Yep.
And, I mean,
Yeah.
and it's in a Brooks.
Yeah, it's a wonderful record, and it's a hard one to come by too.
Mhm.
Of these that have been reissued a bunch, this is not one. This one, I don't think this had really a recent reissue at all, except for the Music Matters maybe.
Well, there was a Connoisseur Series one.
Sure.
I think there was I think 75th. I think.
Was there 75th?
So yeah, but all
I'm
of those start at like $50 to start.
Yeah.
And that's the cheapest one.
So that is a bargain. It's probably going to be like a $20 record.
Oh yeah.
And the OG is extremely rare.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the more pricey Blue Notes, isn't it? For an OG.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's very pricey, along with some Hank Mobley, School Strutting,
Mm-hmm.
the hip.
Yeah, it's a wonderful record. I mean, y'all should buy it if you don't have it. I'm obviously not going to buy it since I have the Music Matters, but
yeah,
it's a really, really, really good record.
Yeah.
I think
And again, this is a Music Matters 33. I don't think the classic is going to be much different from that. Can be.
No.
I grabbed this, and this has all the Tina Brooks, so I'm set. The set sounds excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, next up. This one I was really happy to see. Wayne Shorter, Night Dreamer. There's just so much to say about this record. So this is recorded in 64, released in 64. If I'm not mistaken, so I think the timeline is Wayne Shorter was at VJ. Lee Morgan hooked up with him there, and then they both came over to back to Blue Note. So I think that was the connection how Wayne Shorter got in. And then I think he played as sideman for a little bit. And then his first lead record on Blue Note is this one, right? Is that correct?
I think so, Mike. I think so. I think that was the first one.
So Waning Moments came before this. That was on VJ. So I'm pretty sure this was his first lead record.
Night Dream. Yes, that was the first, yes.
Why I even mention that is because if you look at his VJ catalog when he was leading stuff to this record, it is like two different people. Mm-hmm. Like the styles are just completely different. I guess you'd call this post-bop. It might be, that might not be totally correct, but it's just he's totally on a different path than the earlier Messengers and VJ hardbop stuff. It really is just, he's like, where did this guy come from? Like, it's just an incredible record and incredible compositions.
Yeah, I think at this point in his career, here's the record. That's the MMJ.
Nice. Yeah.
So I think at this point in his career, he was realizing what kind of composer, what kind of musician he was. He wanted to go a different way. That's why he parted ways, I think, with the Messengers. He was not happy with that hard bop, punchy, loud kind of thing. He wanted to play with space, and I think Night Dreamer is all about that. If you go to the concept of the record, it's about living spaces. He doesn't play soft, he plays hard. But it's kind of a dreamy landscape environment. And especially when you get to the last song, it's kind of a journey through the night. But when you get to the last song, Armageddon, he states that it's not about this. Armageddon is known as the final battle on Earth of the good and evil. But he kind of sees it as when we realize who we are and where we go from there. That's what his idea of Armageddon is. That's what the song takes us to. Yeah, and I think once he gets with the other guys in the quintet, things just go like all over the place. It's beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, this is the top 5 of this new releases for sure. I mean, I'm obviously up for Wayne Shorter, Blue Notes, where he's the leader, because all the ones I have so far have been amazing. So, yep.
Our next one is a big for Grant Green Street. This is a quartet, if I'm not mistaken, 1961, and he's playing with. Oh no, it's a trio. It's Grant Green, Ben Tucker, and Dave Bailey.
I like it. I think his rendition of "Round About Midnight" it's phenomenal. What they do there, the way he built and reinterpret the songs. This is my copy. Unfortunately, no cover. It's a test pressing. But yeah, it's a great record, highly desirable. Even a Music Matters or other release, they're hard to come by in a good quality. So go for it. I think it's classic. This is 4071, so it's still 4000 series, early 60s.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like all this stuff's pretty early. I'll probably listen to this one before I buy it. Like it's not on the must-buy list for me yet, so I'll definitely give it a stream before I pick this one up. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I streamed it a little bit today. It's a really nice trio. I don't know. I'll stream it again and make a decision.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it was really good. And I only sampled the first track, so I'm curious to hear the Roundabout Midnight.
Oh, check it out.
Track. Yeah, I think I'll check that out.
One thing I would that kind of just brought up in my brain is this in a normal classic series release schedule would be like a heavy hitter,
Oh my god!
right?
Yeah.
This
If I was in,
if this was in a normal like the last 6 months of shit, this would
Exactly.
be like top. People would be freaking out. But there's so much. This list is so fucking deep. It's crazy.
if you were like digging in a record store and came across like an early pressing of this, you would definitely buy it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Price is good. But yeah,
Like all 16 of these are just known records that people want.
yeah. Let's take. So I think we're just past halfway through here, and I think it's worth noting like the titles that were selected. These are really, really excited. I think a lot of people are happy with the selections.
Yeah.
So they're going to pay off the Miles Davis Volume 1, and we're going to get Volume 2. Now, all these miles are adapted from 10-inch sessions over a period of time. So you can see there's multiple session dates here. One in 52 here, and then another in 54. And if you look at like the Volume 1, it's like the same thing. So they're all different, and this is a really formative time for Miles. So, the difference between 2 years is pretty big at this point, for sure. And I think what's cool about Volume 2 is if I'm correct, I think there's a couple quartets. So it's just Miles with a rhythm section, which is, there's not that many like sessions where it's Miles in a quartet. He usually, has a larger group than that. So I think that makes this really interesting to me. I did not get Volume 1, but I might get Volume 2 here because of that. You guys have these?
That's the one, right?
Yeah, so March 6th, 54, there's a quartet.
I mean, he has Horace Silver, J.J. Johnson, Percy Heath, Art Blakey. However, originally it doesn't sound that great, so it's not going to sound as good as No Room for Squares, for example. But still, it's going to be a nice mono session there. Early Miles, still back and forth with Heroin, recording good sessions here, bad sessions there. But this is a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, how about the other one, the Volume 1, I guess? I like it. I mean, here's the thing: if you only have so much room for Miles in your collection, like I say, you would have 5 or 10 Miles records. This wouldn't be in the first 5 or 10 Miles records you buy. I don't think.
I think that's fair.
So I'm gonna get it. I like it because it's an early 1500 series. I want that whole run, eventually of 1500 series if I can get them. So I'm down for that. But like the last set that came out a couple months ago, it was that and Fats Navarro from the same kind of era. I like that Navarro record a lot more than I like the Miles record.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah. Well, not surprised, but they don't. The Fats Navarro was also Volume 1, Volume 2.
Right.
And that the Volume 2 was not a part of this batch.
Now, have we gotten both the Monks yet? I can't remember. Have we gotten the no,
we only have
one, right?
Yeah, Genius of Modern Music.
Yeah. And
this Miles, to Felipe's point, this was recorded at WOR Studios in New York City. This is not a Van Gelder Hackensack.
Yep.
So a little earlier than that.
You're a Miles completist, or you like these records, obviously buy them. But for me, if you have limited space, I don't know if I would pick this one up.
I think the next one I'm pretty excited about. We have the Amazing Bud Powell. It's good. I'm pretty sure it's going to have a different cover. I think. Hopefully they have it here. I think this is.
Right there,
yeah. So this is the Amazing Bud Powell, and it's essentially Volume 1. They already released Volume 2. That's Time Waits.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Amazing Bud Powell as well, and then there is a Volume 3. There might even be more than that, but
there's 5.
There's
I think there's 5.
Yeah, there's 5.
Because Volume 1 and Volume 2 have this exact same cover.
And I mean, look at the reviews. Everybody, all the reviewers love it. And let's look at the Un Poco Loco. That's a great track. Ornithology, Night in Tunisia. I mean, really great jazz, early jazz standards there. So you have Fats Navarro on trumpet, Sonny Rollins tenor sax, Bud Powell, Tommy Porter, Roy Haynes. And then on the trio tracks, you have Curly Russell and Max Roach. And Fats Navarro sounds awesome on this. I streamed it, and he sounds great.
So I think the trio stuff's just only on the CD, it looked like.
Oh, okay.
I have those as a 70s Blue Labels, Chris.
Okay.
So I'm going to buy the classics because the 70s are like your channel stereos. They suck. They're not good.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to buy those for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to buy this for sure. This is maybe the one I'm most excited for, actually, because I just love Bud Powell, and I love that Volume 3. Now, I'm betting these Volume 1 and 2 may not sound as good as Volume 3, 4, and 5, just from when they were recorded, but I don't care. I'm going to buy it just, it's Bud Powell on Blue Note. I've streamed this one too like 10 times, so I'm really excited about it.
All right, let's keep moving. The next one I'm definitely going to get. So this is Clifford Brown Memorial Album. This was put out after he died. So he died when he was 25, I believe, in a car accident, and it was his second serious car accident in his life. He was in one, like, I guess a couple years earlier when he was in college, and he was in the hospital. Well, it's just, it's just the guy. And then, he got into another one, I think on a bridge. This is for such a young person. I have a bunch of Clifford Brown records, and I think he is the best trumpeter, period. I don't know. I know, he didn't get that much time, but from what he's recorded and his style, clean he sounds, his tone, it just, I think he just is the best trumpeter. So I'm definitely getting this. This is, it's a compilation. It has a bunch of stuff I guess Blue Note had in their catalog of
2 different sessions. Yeah.
Clifford Brown, Lou Donaldson, Elmo Hope, Percy Heath, Billy Joe Jones. And then on later tracks, you have John Lewis, Gigi Grice, Charlie Rouse, Percy Heath, Art Blakey.
Wow.
It's a pretty strong record. I actually forgot my copy downstairs. Yeah.
Do you have this one? You like it, Felipe? How's it sound?
Oh, yeah. It sounds amazing. Sounds impressive. Sounds big. Sounds strong. Yeah, I have the Music Matters 45, and it's just absolutely insane. It's very good. And I think the Classic Series, again, won't disappoint. It's going to be very close.
Yeah, for sure. You're gonna get this one, Mike, you said?
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, and there's not too many Brownie records that, there's one on Pacific Jazz, there's one on there's a few on Emercy, right? That's the Max Roach group. Those are fantastic.
There's a Clifford Brown with strings too, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
And he went to I forget the band leader now, but he went to Europe and he recorded a bunch of stuff there. That's really excellent. But yeah, he's great. So,
hey, or we always talk about they have to space out the good stuff. They don't want to release everything at once. But it seems like they're kind of just like said screw that and threw the door open this time. I mean,
somebody on our Instagram post said this reminds me of like the first run of the Classic Series. Because of just the quality of titles that were selected. And I totally get what that comment was getting to. Speaking of that, let's move on. Search for the New Land.
Everybody wants that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
Lee Morgan, Search for the New Land. 64, released in 66. Some people say this is his best record, their favorite record of his. It's a different, it's a style that he had in the mid 60s there. So Lee Morgan, Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, Grant Green, Reggie Workman, and Billy Higgins. Yeah, I listened to this today.
What do you think of it?
It's good. I mean, I think for this era, this is probably my favorite Lee Morgan. But yeah, I do really like Candy, which is more straight ahead. So I feel like there's different styles of Lee Morgan, but this is a great one to have. So this is a Japanese copy I bought from Mazzy from Dizzy's auction. So it sounds really good.
Another one here too. That's a Black Bee Van Gelder. That's a Van Gelder.
Nice.
This record, he actually recorded this not long after Signwinder 64, but because there was this push for more commercial things, they made him record Rump Roller and then Cornbread, and this thing was shelved along with the Gigolo and some other records that came, Caramba, and the records that came in the late 60s. And it only goes to show how diverse he was. He was all over the place by those days. He was trying to be modal. He was trying to be post-bop. He was trying to be a lot of things, bluesy, R&B. Hence, this quite diversity on what he was producing. But just the title track here, right? I mean, occupying almost pretty much the first half of the record is just it's quite an achievement. Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. And you have guitar here, Grant Green. You have Herbie. You have Reggie Workman, Wayne Shorter. I mean, he had a great experience, great time with Wayne Shorter at the Messengers, where he learned how to be more economical, live his spaces. So, and I think this record shows that.
So it sound I haven't heard this one, but it sounds different than Sidewinder. It's not as commercial sounding like Sidewinder.
Oh no, it's more. I think he was trying to be modal, a little bit more modal post bop in this record.
Yeah, I mean, this was a top one for me too, just seeing it, because I mean, here's the thing: whenever people are saying what records they want to come out, this one is one of them. Like you see, I want to search for the new line, search for the new line, search for the new line, like over and over and over again. You see it, so
yeah, agreed. As Rob says, there is no bad Lee Morgan record.
True. I'm just excited because it's different than a lot. It sounds like it's going to be different than a lot of the stuff I have of his.
Next up, we have Bobby Hutcherson, Happenings. This is another title that people have been asking for a lot. This is a super desirable title, very hard to get. So this is Bobby Hutcherson with Herbie Hancock, Bob Cranshaw, Joe Chambers, 66 and released in 67.
So no horns.
No horns.
Very cool.
Box full of rock. You
Track
see
7.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was his fourth record on the Blue Notes. First one was The Kicker, and then came Dialogue Components, and I think came this one. Iconic, beautiful photography work. That's the Music Matters. I have a 70s Van Gelder as well. This one sounds better, so I'm betting the Classic series is going to be phenomenal. This record has a very laid back kind of. It's a nice mood, relaxing. It doesn't get too, even like the faster songs, you still feel like so mellow. You know, it's just great. I think, especially the piano and this interchange, this piano and the vibes, they kind of float. It's just a beautiful sensation there, and I think the cover translates it.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
Yeah, you guys don't have it?
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
Too expensive.
No, I don't have it because the copy to get the Music Matters, and it costs like $300. So no, I'm so happy to do this out.
A few people listed their Blue Note 75s today, probably based on the news, and even that was pretty expensive. Like pretty much any copy of this is expensive.
Yep.
So
it's nice that it's coming back into print.
Yeah. So definitely be getting this.
Yeah, I think this one benefits from being audiophile because it's so light, so delicate, the sounds. You don't want to hear anything rough. You want to hear like beauty.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
All right, our second to last is Donald Byrd's A New Perspective, 1964 studio album that was recorded in 63, released in 64. This one I know has vocals. You have Donald Byrd, Hank Mobley, Herbie Hancock, Kenny Burrell, Donald Best, vibraphone and vocals, Butch Warren bass, Lex Humphreys drums, Duke Pearson arranging, And then you have some choir direction here. So yeah, and then there's a few other vocalists on this. Out of all the titles, this was the only one where there were some comments that were pretty negative. How do you guys feel about this title?
I think it's a great title. This is the OG copy. I think it's great. I mean, it's Donald Byrd. He knows what he's doing. And the thing about having vocals or not, I mean, really, I think this shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, it has vocals. I don't like it. To listen to it first. I think it's really well done. The musicianship are just great. It's beautiful music. Try it before saying. I think there's a lot of I never heard it and I don't like it. So, dude, really?
It's mainly just the wax that does that, though, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, you see people here and there, saying that. Just
Yes.
because it has voices or has guitar or has organ or whatever, try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be streaming this one before I buy it just because I don't know the record. So I will say that the fact there's a choir does give me a slight pause, but I'll definitely check it out. And if it's awesome, I mean, I saw in the Wikipedia, Pitchfork put it as one of the 200 greatest records of the 60s.
It is really good. Oh yeah, it is really good.
Yeah, I had streamed it today, and I was surprised by. I think I can see if you're not into vocals or whatever, you won't want this record. But I think I don't really have much that sounds like this, so I'll definitely stream it again. I may not get it in the end, but I think I'll definitely be more familiar with the record. And I do think it's good. It's just do I need it? Do I have to have a copy of it? I'm not totally sure. But I thought it was pretty good. And again, it's different. A lot of things I do when thinking about what I want to buy, I want to have things that are kind of discreet and can kind of fill a gap within my collection, so I have something. And I don't really have much vocals in the 60s like this. So
yeah. Plus, a funny fact about the cover: Donald Byrd is a lot into dressing well and having cars. He was the one that pushed Herbie Hancock when he got his first money, instead of buying a touring van, to buy the Shelby Cobra. He was the one that pushed him to buy the Shelby Cobra.
He still got it too.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that car on any cover?
I don't know.
The Shelby Cobra? No.
No.
It would be nice to be in the cover of Adventures and Dimensions, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be amazing.
All right, we have our last title. I think we hit up everything.
Speaking of the devil,
share this. So here we have Mr. Hancock, Speak Like a Child. This is the latest one. This is from '68. And I think the earliest one was probably the Miles, so like from '52. So this batch kind of spanned that time period. And yeah, let's take a look at this. So let's see who's on it. This is Herbie Hancock, Ron Carter, Mickey Roker, Jerry Dodgian, alto flute, and then Thad Jones on flugelhorn, and then Peter Phillips on bass trombone. Except in track 3, which looks like it's just a trio.
So what are your impressions of this?
I like this record. He was his second to last on Blue Note. He was still very into Miles Quintet. The title came from the picture, actually. He took the picture before anything. He liked it so much, he convinced Reed Miles to use this picture, and Reed came with the title, Speak Like a Child. This is a late 60s record. Things were very turbulent in those days. So Herbie wanted to have something lighter, something more optimistic. And that's why this whole thing came from. And also the songs. Riot, right? Speak Like a Child, First Trip. So Riot, I think, was recorded by Miles. Speak Like a Child. And First Trip was actually a Ron Carter song. He wrote about his kid going to school first time. And then it was also recorded later in Joe Henderson's Tetragon. It's there, the same song.
Oh,
yeah.
Very cool.
Toys, Goodbye to Childhood. It's about, childhood, good times, being more naive and light. And of course, The Sorcerer. It's also on the Miles record. There's a lot of Miles Quintet compositions here. And I think Riot is on Nefertiti, right? I'm not sure. Got to double check on that. But it is a great record. It's more orchestrated, lighter. And then after that came The Prisoner, which is a completely different story. He was leaving Blue Note. He was kind of annoyed and wanted to do something really, really out there compared to his previous production and what Blue Note was expecting. So Speak Like a Child, I think, is a must-have for everybody too. It's a lighter, more melodic. He was more interested in exploring the melodies here, not the chords. So it's very open, very colorful record. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I've listened to it before. I really like it. I've been looking for a copy for a while, but I've been holding off because I knew this would happen, right? This one and that Clifford Brown were definitely in like the top 10 Blue Notes I would like to see in this reissued. So I'm excited.
I was actually kind of surprised. I didn't know what to expect, but this record to me was pretty traditional compared to just what I was thinking it was going to be. It has really good swing on it, and it was pretty. Yeah, it was really nice to listen to. So that's everything. I wanted to just show this post where we just put basically all 16 titles, and I will say, like, this is a solid group of new releases coming out. What are your favorites here? Which ones are like definitely gets for you?
For me, I think the top, if I had to pick three, I'd say Mode for Joe. That's hard. The Bud Powell, maybe. And then maybe Nuke's Time. I don't know. There's so many good ones. It's hard.
Yeah, Night Dreamer. Yeah. I think getting a top 3 there is really hard. It has to be like a top 15.
Yeah, exactly. Like, which one are you most suspect of, right? Like, I mean, there's a couple here that I'm not super stoked for. Like, I mean, I'll probably pick them up eventually. Like, go and sell like the Miles Davis and maybe that Donald Byrd but the rest of them just seem really strong. I mean, they all seem really strong, but if I had to pick a couple that were lower down the list, those two would be lower for me probably. But
I think the one I'm most excited about, I think, is Night Dreamer, Wayne Shorter. But also, the Mode for Joe and like Nuke's Time, No Room for Squares. Those are probably my top 4. But then there's so many other good ones like Clifford Brown, Bud Powell, This Happening, Hutcherson. So, and then I have a Tina Brooks, so like that's what. Otherwise, that would be included.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Jimmy Smith, people have some prejudice against his style, his beat organ. Give it a try. You see, it's going to surprise you.
Yeah.
I mean, when you said it's the same as the Chicken Shack sessions, that's going to be badass because that record's really good.
Right. That record's most. I think this one, Chicken Shack, and Sermon and House Party are his top ones. They're all killer, very boogie, very well played. Super good. Super good.
All right. Well, those are the 16 titles that were announced today. So let us know what you think about the list in general. What are the top picks that you're definitely going to get? Remember to like and subscribe. And guys, any final thoughts?
We are 8 months free of speculation now.
Yeah, I have a few thoughts. So we've talked about all this stuff already, but I think just to reiterate for anybody that doesn't know, the Classic series is great. They're cheap. The records are 95% of a tone poet, probably 95%. Just the only difference is the pressing plant. This list is crazy compared to what we've seen in the last couple of years. I mean, there's none of these, hey, let's release a couple of randos from the 90s. It's all like just smoking heavy hitters pretty much. Like when we're looking for bottom of the barrel stuff, it just isn't there.
I agree with you, Chris. And that makes me wonder what's going to come out next year. Are they going to explore more the 70s, 80s, maybe 90s? Who knows?
I mean, that would be cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time. Thank you for watching.